Hello, 702. Welcome back to Module 1, the long version of the preview. So in Module 1, you're going to have an explore, collaborate, unpack, and imagine. You're also going to have a small snapshot Google form to introduce yourself to your instructors. So in our explore this week, this week is all about getting to know one another and beginning our understandings on the concepts of equity, ethics, social justice, and critical inquiry. This course is going to take kind of an iterative or a hermeneutical approach to these understandings. We're going to start where we're at, and we're going to refine and learn together each week, going a little deeper into the concepts. So in the Explore, one thing that I want to point out to you is that we have an assignments and time on task table down here. We really hope that you pay attention to these time on tasks and try not to go over them. If you're struggling with something and you feel like you're really spending too much time, feel free to reach out to your instructors and let us know so that we can maybe help you with some strategies or extend or contract something for you. In most of the Explore tabs, in most of the Explore starts of the modules, you have some tabs up here that you want to look at. This is a learning materials overview that talks about required choice and cohort generated readings. This week, we really only care about the required, so I'm going to wait until next week to talk about the other two. If you look in the learning materials, that is what you are using, what content we're asking you to read or consume for the week. This week, you have one required reading, which is one chapter from the book of Pedagogy of the Oppressed. This book, we're going to read the entire thing and talk about it at the end of Module 3. We've chunked out the chapters in required reading for you so that you have a nice, easy, reflective time into Module 3. And we really hope that you spend some time with this chapter this week. On Tuesday, you have this snapshot due. It is just a Google form that introduces some demographic things like where you're located and what's your context, things that introduce you to your instructor. Please feel free to add anything toward the end that you want us to know, things that we know about your context, your working style, anything you're struggling with, you like, or you have had challenges with, are really, really helpful for us to know as we get to know you as instructors. Your M1 Collaborate in this module has 3 different steps. I'll show them down here just to make sure. Step 1, Step 2, and Step 3. They're due at different times, but they start on Tuesday. You'll have an announcement that talks about when these are due. So just make sure you have a heads up that there's 3 due dates, even though right down here, the last due date is the due date that's official because that's where I'll mark you as complete or not. Our M1 Collaborate for this module is all about you forming your community of practice that will be supporting you throughout this class. You're going to get together with 4 or 5 of your peers, and you're going to work together on the content, give each other feedback on course assignments, on your work with your context and your POP, and the casework that you do. So you're going to have a lot of support from your COP. Because we're talking about ethics, equity, social justice, and critical inquiry, it's really helpful to think about having people in your group that can offer perspectives from contexts and experiences that really differ from your own. This also helps in the case studies because sometimes we're working with higher ed, sometimes we're working with K through 12. Different contexts and experiences coming together can help you understand some of the mentor text really well. You're going to be doing a flip, which is a small video, and it should only be a couple minutes, and you're introducing yourself in light of how you would be a COP member, what you're looking for, what you have to offer. My advice here is please don't agonize over this flip. It's just a video where you're kind of talking to people. And you could spend hours redoing your video over and over again, but we want to give each other the grace of kind of an extemporaneous experience in our asynchronous communication, kind of like what I'm doing here. I'm just talking to you as if we had a class in front of me and you're just going to be watching it later. When you go to your Flipboard, you go to this one and you can start, and it'll have your M1 collaborate right there. You add your topic and you have your responses. When you log into this, I've already logged in, you want to log in with your ASU account so that we can credit you, and it should be easier to log into the flip with your ASU account, your ASU email, that is. All right, that is due on Tuesday. Step 2 is to review your peers' videos and have conversations on the flip tool about who's going to be in what COP. We have step 2 here kind of due on Thursday. And that's mostly so that you know that's when the conversations are going to be starting. We're kind of trying to help you organize your time across the cohort so that you kind of all know a time and space where you can really start talking about who's going to be in which COP. Step 3 is due on Sunday, and you can turn this in anytime you like, but it's a COP sign up. First come, first serve, whichever COP starts, go ahead and put your name, your leadership context, and your time zone. You want your COPs to be between 4 and 5 members. If it's less than that, we will reach out to you about joining other COPs or merging with other COPs. If it's more than that, sometimes it's difficult to organize the times to get together. If you have one that is going to be about 6, or we merge 2 that are 3, we'll talk to you about the logistics of that if it comes to it. You have an M1 Unpack, which is a discussion board posting, and you are going to give your off-the-cuff definition of equity, ethics, social justice, and critical inquiry. What we really hope for here is that it's really off the cuff. Don't look up the definitions, just it's what you're thinking right now. We're going to revisit this, we're going to refine these, we're going to be reading about these for weeks. So just put down what you think, what you've experienced, and how you're thinking about it right now. You have your M1 Imagine is the very first entry in your developer notebook. You are going to make a copy of this developer notebook template. And please, please, please remember to share it with both Dr. Miller and myself so that we have access to your work when you turn it in. You're going to be giving us your current problem of practice and your possible research questions. You can pull those from anything that you did last semester. We'd also like to see what supporting literature you've been reading with citations, and theories with citations about where you're at right now in the research and thinking and the literature of your problem of practice. We're also going to ask you to connect that to the concepts of equity, ethics, social justice, and critical inquiry. And remember, this is an imagine. This is not an act, so it doesn't have to be super polished. We would like to see citations so we kind of understand where you're coming from in the literature. But if you want to add comments about your thinking, or maybe you've changed context and you want to talk about possible POPs and do some brainstorming, or maybe you're just not set on your research questions yet, you can say all of that. And that actually really helps us know where to give you feedback that'll help move you forward from where you are right now. Remember, this is just the beginning. This is our introduction to your ideas and where you're at in the program generally. It's also the start of your developer notebook, which means that we're going to revisit this and refine and move from this throughout the semester. And that's it. That is it for the long version of our preview for M1. If you have any questions, please, please, please don't forget, always just reach out to me. It doesn't have, the smallest question is fine, by email or by the virtual office hours if you think that your classmates could benefit from it. All right, enjoy. Thank you.